Hi, this is your girl Annette, Miss Delaware Classic Universe 2023. Mind you, I think I've been saying 2024 for a minute. 2023, Miss Delaware Classic Universe. And this is the 2024 Wear Your Crown Empowerment Speaker Series. Now, the intent is to inspire women and girls into purpose by meeting phenomenal queens and having them share what they do, why they do it, why it's important, or how it's important, and how you can stay connected to them. So today we have a phenomenal queen that is going to share all of those things with you guys. So make sure you tune in, like, share, and tag a friend. How are you, sister? Can you please introduce yourself?
I'm fine, thank you. First, thank you for the opportunity to be on your platform. I appreciate it so much. I do. And second, my name is Teresa Muhammad, and I do a lot. I do quite a bit. I was thinking, initially I would say I'm a birth worker, but I do a whole lot more, right? I've acquired knowledge in a lot of different places.
Okay.
But it started, the root of it has been birth work. I'm an apprentice and midwife, and a doula. So that's kind of where the work that I'm doing now started.
Okay.
And I guess we'll get into that.
Well, let's go back. So some people are not sure what a doula is. Could you explain that a little bit?
Okay, so a doula is basically something that we've always done traditionally in terms of supporting birth, but it is essentially the person who educates, who supports physically, who supports emotionally, not just the mother, but also the family during pregnancy, childbirth, and the postpartum stages. And it's known, statistically to reduce maternal mortality rates, infant mortality rates, and morbidity rates. So essentially a doula is,
Like a
with the mother
coach?
I would say coach would be a more modernized version, and it doesn't give the fullness of what a doula actually does, especially in terms of birth being a spiritual and divine thing. You know what I mean? Bringing in new life. I think saying a coach is kind of
minimizing
it. Yeah, it really does, because you're supporting the entire family. You're being there. You're holding space. People think birth is just birth, but there's things that happen surrounding birth that women, and families know. There's losses that happen. There's also pregnancy and infancy loss that happens in those type of spaces that are supported as well. Fatal diagnoses happen. So yeah, I wouldn't say coach.
Okay. So when does this process begin? Does it begin when they find out that they're pregnant, or do you have to be like a certain number of months along before you pull a doula on?
So having a doula, and then there's also a midwife, right? So the midwife is the person who does the clinical things, who is doing your prenatal visits, who from the very beginning of conception, and really a doula is there too. But when you say in terms of where does it begins from when we're born. We need to be more knowledgeable of who we are, the food that we're eating as children, growing up, as teenage girls, and then now she's going to turn into an adult woman who's going to partner up with a man, and they're going to produce a child together. So the educational parts of it, which is why I say I initially would start saying with birth work, but in doing research and being in present, I know that I have to go backwards. I have to go to younger children to educate them there, to build a foundation for where they need to go before they even become an adult.
Oh, so it's life work before
It's
you
life
even
work.
start thinking of being
Correct.
pregnant, because there's, I guess, work or cleansing or knowledge that needs to be a part of it to you once you decide to make that journey.
Right, because if it wasn't, then we wouldn't be in the state that we're in Most people don't know that you can have a home birth. Most people don't know the things that affect birth. The community doesn't know its effect on birth. So those things need to be taught at an early age, and that has to become the foundation for success.
Okay, so as people find, okay, so you said you have to go backwards. So right now, you are connected to women who are either thinking about conceiving or who know they're carrying and know they want this holistic approach to giving birth or their pregnancy cycle.
So I do that. I call myself a full circle birth worker, and that means that I support birth, right? So now let's say a baby girl is born, and I support that baby mother having her child, and now that child is growing up, and now we're teaching in schools, and now they're learning more about themselves. They're learning. So I'm connected with people on that. The womb center, I have a location that is located in a community center that's ran by One Village Alliance at the Freedom Center.
Okay.
So I'm housed in there, and they deal with children all day. So we have a teen sister circle that I talk to, dealing with menses, hygiene, etiquette, and all of those things. So now she's growing up and going a little bit further, or now also dealing with young men, teaching them about teen pregnancy too. They need to know about it, right? So it's having a platform to be able to speak to everybody on that level as well. And then now you go further in life, and now maybe you become a mother, maybe you have different issues, we address those things. Community work, I'm a community health worker, so a lot of what I do is attach people to their needs, social needs that they have, because housing affects birth and children, right? Education, that affects birth. All of it, your economic status, or what they call the social determinants of health, affect that, right? So having food deserts, that affects birth, that affects pregnancy. Industry being in certain areas and policy, that affects birth, that affects everybody, that affects the whole community. So we support that. And then moving further, I have clients that I've supported and that I've worked with that are undergoing chemo. I support that. If you go into surgery and you need somebody to sit with you that's not a doctor, person that just have compassionate care. I mean, I'll grease your scalp if you know what I mean?
Okay, is the compassionate care part of the doula services? Absolutely. Or that's just part of being in the sisterhood of doulas?
It's both.
Okay.
It's both. And it's, stuff that we do for one another, but it just says that this is what I do in my community. Okay. For everybody, right? Yes. And then going further now, end of life. There's people that are in hospice. There's sudden things that happen, tragedy in the community. I support that as well. End of life doula, that's the actual thing that people focus on. So it's full circle of life. So much. Absolutely.
This sounds just like the Queendom. Like, I feel like the Queendom is supposed to be everything that you're talking, everything that you're talking about. Like, okay, let's start with the babies, but it starts with you conceiving this child and us staying connected to this child through education, through life changes, like things that happen. You have a support system of women and girls who are saying, oh, you're not by yourself. Right. You have support. Right. Like, if you want to talk, like, we're talking about menstruation, we're talking about pregnancy, we're talking about housing, education, growing, relationships, and more. So whatever you need, there's someone in that circle to assist you.
And every neighborhood needs to have it.
I agree.
You know what I mean? Yes. Everywhere needs to have, that's what a true community center is. Is that you have these resources in a one place where people can come for support. And that's the work that we do, that's community.
Okay, now you also shared where it was located.
Right.
So I know Chandra, and I know the One Village Alliance, and I'm not sure of the location. The last place I think I saw them was at the church next to the hotel. Is that the same place?
No, ma'am. They have a huge location at 31 West 31st Street in Wilmington. Okay. Right? And it's a beautiful space. It has an outdoor space. It has so many different programs that we're really trying to promote, even like, free haircuts, the sister circle that I mentioned. There's Zumba happening there. There's skating, like right in the city. You can just go there, family skate or adult skating. We have the Womb Center that is there. There's yoga happening there. So it's everything that like an urban health thing. There's health pop-ups that are happening there. Yeah, so it's like, you know, different people that are professional in their area. She's opened up this space for us all to just contribute to what we all know needs to happen within our community for ourselves, right? Okay. And that's the work that we're striving to do. So like I said, I would say I'm a birth worker, but it's so much more than that. It's more than that because I am connected to so many people that have become a very skilled or professional deeper into one particular area. Like I'm a community health worker. I study a little bit of public health, enough to understand the need for epidemiology or the need for public health, you know, people, and what it encompasses enough to say, hey, you should be sitting at this table, oh, you should be here, and these people need these different resources. And making people in the community aware of what's out there, right? I went to Delaware State University, University of Delaware Cooperative Extension. They have a program there to become a master gardener. I took it. It's a 12-week program, and then now here I am growing and doing things within the community. You know what I'm saying? And teaching other people how to grow where they are. That's a part of nutrition that helps birth, right? Yes. It helps everybody. Chronic illnesses. There's so many people dealing with diabetes, different things. I'm connected to nurse practitioners and stuff that are doing things in the community from a holistic level, that look just like us, that are doing this kind of work. So hey, you got this issue, all right, you go over here. You dealing with menopause, so I'm trying to get out of people just look at me and they're like, oh, you that doula, you that, you know, student midwife, or you know,
I'm not
you're
just
that birth worker,
anything.
but no,
Yes.
it's a full
life work,
right?
Yeah.
Right. It's all of the activity of life. And if you say like, why women? You know, I would say that, like that African proverb or principle, when you teach a man, right, you teach an individual. When you teach a woman, you teach a nation. Yes. And focusing on the women is one part of it, but we're focusing on everybody.
We're sharing how she is building a queendom through LifeWorks and doulaism, or like the life of being a birth work.
The original word doula, that word actually means slave. So most Black birth workers really don't want to use that word, but it's become so popular that if I say I'm a birth worker, you don't necessarily understand
everything that it
entails of what I do. So I have to, you know, say doula, and then I'll bring you into understand what
everything else.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I'm so sorry, you guys, if you missed it, but you are going to have to like go to the YouTube and actually watch it. So you'll probably be able to watch it later on tonight on Kendu's, and I'll be sure to put my link for the one on my page underneath. But you definitely want to go back and watch the entire thing and listen to the work that Sister Teresa is doing. Did I say your name correctly?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So okay, we know what you do. We know where you're at. So how did you get started?
That's a very big question. How did I get into it? In the work that, you know, in that space, many of us say we're called to. Yes. And I was absolutely called to it spiritually and literally called to it from the time I was a teenager. I attended my first birth. People would just be like, hey, come, you know, can you come with me? Sometimes people I didn't even know, like, or I just met, like, hey, I'm having this baby, can you come help me? You know, so I've been there, present doing that. I've always been known to be that person to hook up a good soup and bake some bread. I bake bread, I, you know, will make soup. I teach how to cook certain nutritional events, foods and stuff like that. And then I just, you know, have always been really doing that I just had the opportunity at one particular time about 7-8 years ago to be able to do it as my work. And so I walked right into it, and then, you know, later on down the line, I ended up finding out that my great-great-grandmother was a midwife in North Carolina, and I'm like, oh, okay. So I see, like, it's in my DNA. I understand now what, you know, and they've, you know, grown. They have land down in North Carolina still to this day. They were educators. They were in ministry. They had plenty of land and were growing and dealing with agriculture and education and births and all of those things. So I'm like, I'll say now that I'm the answer to the prayers that they had, and as they were doing the things that they were doing, they were cultivating me energetically. Yeah. So that's why.
Okay. So we now have who you are, what you do, why you do it, and we have where you're at, but how do we stay connected to what you're doing? Like if we want to sign up or register or watch, like are the classes virtual? Do you have to be in person? Like how do we stay connected to what you're doing, or how do we become a part of what you're doing?
So my website is TraditionalDoula.com.
TraditionalDoula.com?
Yes.
Okay.
And then also, of course, One Village Alliance, I'm connected with them, so the programs and things like that, you can register right on their website. And they have like the, you know, the teen sister circles there. You can register for the skate. You can register for all of the activities that are happening there right online. Social media, for sure, Teresa.Muhammad. I'm on there. Facebook, Teresa Muhammad. I also have the Womb Center is up there. And that's a whole other, you know, space where I do womb steaming, bone closing, foot detoxes.
What is a bone closure?
So a bone closing is where it's a ceremony, it's a traditional ceremony, and it's done in many different cultures, original cultures. And it's essentially where you take scarves, they're hand-woven scarves, and you lay them down, and it's originally for postpartum, I wouldn't say originally, but the way that we understand it now is that it's primarily for postpartum care. And I would have a woman laying down on the scarves, and they're placed down, and I wrap them in specific locations throughout her body, bringing her bones back together, because you know, when you're pregnant, everything spreads and opens, but by itself, it doesn't just do that. So we've always done these practices, but we're so far removed from the practices that we've done, and that is me taking my hands and helping push it closed and using the scarves to also help and bring your body back together. It also is known to have a lot of emotional and spiritual, things as well. It allows you the ability to release. You end up feeling like you've gotten a big hug. You know, becoming a mother is a change of life situation. It's a rebirth for every baby, right? It's a rebirth. So that ceremony is a beautiful ceremony. It's done. I can do it at the womb center, but usually early postpartum, I go to the mom's home, and I absolutely do a whole thing. I light candles. I make it beautiful. I even do something called a hammam, which is it's the Moroccan term for what it is, but it's a herbal shower, and I scrub you with herbs and clay and different things like that. And then afterward, you go and you lay down and you have your bone closing done, and supported with a lot of good nutritious foods and things like that. And a womb steam, the use of herbs, being able to, it goes into a pot and you sit over a stool, and essential oils come up and go inside of your vagina. But it's also for men. So men having different things like erectile dysfunction, inflamed prostate, and or blockages and things like that. The steaming also helps for men.
So they have a name. They've been coming out now with these like toilet seat covers for you, and I don't
be able to.
Yes, and they're calling it something else now.
Yoni steam?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So yoni is a Sanskrit word that it's specifically your vagina, essentially, but it's more like a more spiritual term for it.
Okay, and is that something you do in the home or at the center?
Both.
Okay.
Usually at the home, it's early postpartum because, you know, we wait the 40 days. That traditionally, you have a baby, you don't go outside.
Right.
Right? So I come to your home and I support you at home. The goal is stay home. You shouldn't be going out of the house. So in that sense, I support it there, but it also, anybody can do a womb steam for, or a lingam steam is what men get. You can do it for cleansing, postpartum, menopause. There's different herbs that support different needs. If someone has like endometriosis or fibroids or PCOS, heavy menses, you would get the womb steams as well. And then the foot detoxes, herbs and clays and different things like that in a basin. And you sit your feet in there. And, you know, of course, the atmosphere is always beautiful, you know. And the herbs and the clays remove toxins and chemicals and other impurities from throughout your body through your feet. Because our feet absorb
a lot.
But you can also detox through your feet. So that's essentially what I do. And I take oils and things and I massage other oils that are herbal back in to kind of restore.
Why am I excited?
So yeah.
Like that, like I want to go. Like I don't have a kid or anything, but like I just want to get everything, all the services.
With children, though.
It's not.
No.
Oh, okay. Even the rap, because I like the rap.
Yeah.
The whole idea of the rap, because I've been resetting in this season too.
It's called the trauma release, is what I call it. But when you get it as a trauma release, you do that. You do a foot detox. You do a whole kind of
it's a whole
package.
set.
Yeah. And it's a feel good. Usually after anyone gets the bone closed and they stand up and they're like, oh my gosh, I feel like I'm walking on clouds, or I feel so good and light, because it's an energy that, you know, you absolutely release. I'm also I wouldn't say I'm a Reiki master, but I'm a Reiki practitioner, and I've been attuned. So when I'm, you know, working
there's a lot happening.
There's an energy that's happening anyway, just by default. Yeah.
Now, if you guys do not, okay, no, I'm not even going to. You have to share what is Reiki.
So in short, it's an energy healing, right? So the energy exists in the universe, is there, and essentially when you become attuned, now you're open to receive this energy, and you become a vessel for, you know, moving the energy around on people. So you have to stay yourself, you know, in a kind of state when you're doing work on people. So,
okay, I've had it done once at the GUL retreat. And I didn't know what I was signing up for, but it was like you could sign up and people were signing up. So I was like, oh, I want to experience Reiki. Like, what is that? And I was like, okay, so what do I do? Like, where do I go? And it was like, just lay down. And I was like, that's it? It was like, yeah, just lay down. And it was like, I think there were 4 women, 1 master, and there were like 2 other people, and somebody was down like at my feet. And I was like, they was like, yeah, just relax. I was like, okay. And I was laying, and I was like, oh wait, am I crying? Why am I crying? What is happening here? And they was like, just relax. And they were like talking like to me at the time as it was moving. I was like, oh, this is work that I did not know was going to happen. I was like, okay, I'm not sure. Yeah. You don't know what you signed up for, because, you know, I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know what it was, but I was like, there's a lot going on.
That sounds about right. People cry, I've had one person say, like, I feel like I was levitating off of the floor.
It was off
of the floor. I'm like, I'm pretty sure you were still
Okay, so look, if you've never experienced this, look, be sure to check out the Womb Center.
The Womb Center. The Freedom that's located inside of the Freedom Center.
The Freedom Center that houses the Womb Center. Right. And I don't even want to say doula now, because I feel like that's underpaying everything that you shared. But even in you sharing, like you could feel the energy. Like I'm like, oh, can we go down? Let's just go, and then I can experience it, like have it. Like I want to be there, experiencing all this, or at least trying it or sharing it, and making sure that people know what it is and that it is present. It totally sounds like the Queendom that needs to be, that needs to happen.
Yeah,
And
I think we should have one in every neighborhood. Like people should be able to walk to a womb center near you, a freedom center. You know what I mean? A Queendom center, like whatever neighborhood. I feel like everyone should be able to have something like this everywhere, all throughout the state, the city. You know, everywhere, because a lot is going on in the world. A lot is going on in the community. We have mental health. That's another whole other part. You know, connected with Lush, Sisters Supporting Sisters. It's a wellness group and they primarily deal with mental health, and mental health is a big thing.
And are they housed in the same place?
No, they're not. They have their own, more so, and we do like hikes and stuff. Actually, we have one coming up for Black Maternal Health Week on April 12th, and we'll be meeting at Starbucks on Jefferson Street.
Okay.
And then we'll start our walk, and it starts at 8 a.m. And we'll be, you know, just walking. It's like a anxiety relief, mental health, just, you know, just kind of come together in a sisterhood to just be together, because that's so important. Mental health, people are stressed, unable to, you know, control the mental fluctuations, and unable to cope, or unable to just be okay with circumstances, and understanding it and freeing their mind from the, you know, the hustle bustle, just going through the motions, right?
It is like being around like minds, or like energy, or good people, and whether you are or not, like that being connected or in that same space with good people doing, or their intentions being good, is a great thing and space to be in.
Right,
So.
and at the same time, if you need somebody professionally, it's there. You know, the resources there. We can connect you to. There's fun, there's spiritual, there's community, but then there's also professional. There's also the need to have people who are working in the capacity that they're working in professionally to support all aspects.
Is that at Lush?
That's at everywhere, right? That's everywhere. Every aspect of what we do is it's fun, it's spiritual, it's community, but then we can connect you if you have serious things are happening in the community, right? So if you need services, we have people that we can direct you to those services, because this is a need that you have, and we're not just gonna like leave you hanging and say, okay, now we have to stop because this is beyond our capacity to handle it. No, we have somebody in place that's gonna help you to the fullest extent that you need help.
Did y'all hear this?
Yeah.
Y'all, a sister is here, not just a sister. This is Teresa Muhammad, in case you missed it. When I tell you resources for days, she got locations, venues, professionals, and the heart and the mind to serve. And she's been doing it since she was a teenager. So you know, like, if you need to connect to someone, if you need help, support, encouragement, a mentor, like, it's one-stop shopping. So I am super excited. Like, I want to tour them. I want to go check it out. I need to go visit and see what is happening over here. Mind you, I've heard about it. This is like the third, fourth time. And I'm like, I'ma go. And I haven't made it yet. So we're gonna have to stop
Come for
through.
some Zumba, or you know,
I need to be
take
doing
your
something.
pick.
Well, okay, let's go back, because now I'm on this journey, this new journey where I need to do like low carbs. And you did say something about
We got
teaching
nutrition
meals and
folks,
nutrition.
yeah,
Is that like a class, a
And
workshop?
yes, and there's every level of what you need.
Okay,
Yes,
okay.
every
So
level.
look, so let's do this. We're gonna come and we're gonna have you like share maybe one of the classes or something, so that people know, or we can invite them.
I like to
Like
have it
for
for my
the-
birthday.
Absolutely.
Queen for a day.
Queen
Oh.
On the
Absolutely.
third Saturday. Can y'all come? It's
I'll be
done?
there.
It's gonna be right here.
Okay.
The third Saturday of
Okay.
this month, 1 to 3. And it's just a day of pampering for our queens.
I
And
love
I'd
that.
love to have you come. And of course, my
Look,
niece
if
will
y'all,
do
in
that.
case y'all didn't get all this energy, like there is a
Oh,
whole
it's awesome. I'm so
energy,
excited
a whole vibe
already.
here.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yes.
Oh, I'm so excited.
So, okay, so if we want to support, so if people are not here, like in Delaware, and they are loving what you're doing right now, how can they support? Is there a place to either make a donation, to contribute, or to send supplies to? Where would they do that, and how would they support?
So I believe there's a donate thing on One Village, for One Village, but I'm gonna set up one also on Traditional Doula, but you can do my Cash App, $ Traditional Doula.
Traditional doula?
Yes.
$ Traditional Doula.
Yeah.
Okay, so look, this work costs money. And
Absolutely.
even though this energy is all good and it is totally vibing right now, and if you guys were here in person like you should have been, then you'd be getting some of this too. But you're not. So if you can support, be sure to use the Cash App. We'll put it in the description below. If you feel led to share or to donate, she is more than welcome to accept. If you're interested in supporting the One Village Alliance where she's housed, you're welcome to do that as well. And we'll put their information below so that you know where to find her. Sister, thank you so much
You
for
are
sharing.
absolutely welcome, and thank you again for having me.
It was, I had no, you know, I put out every year in January. So this happens from January to May.
Right.
Like we want speakers for the Wear Your Crown Empowerment Series. And, you know, there are some people who are like, oh yes, I want, and I send the information. But I feel like God's like, okay, it's this person's season. It's this, we need this information, we need this, because everybody that comes, I definitely learn something from.
Right, all the time.
I'm like, this is awesome. I didn't even know the extent. Sister Mohammed was trying to tell me some of it. Sister Lorraine was like, well, she does this and she does that. And I was like, hold up, what? I thought you said, but hold on. Okay, she was like, oh, you'll find out when she gets there. I was like, okay, let me check out and see what's going on. There is a lot happening. In case you missed it, make sure you go back to the beginning, listen to everything. We'll put the location, her Cash App, and some of the things that she's doing in the description. So make sure you check it out. Thank you so much. Is there anything you want to share before we close out?
The last thing I guess I could say is, it's community. You know what I mean? Let's build it. Let's come together. Share your thoughts. We want to hear them. What are your needs? We want to be able to elevate ourselves out of the condition that we're in, you know, that we're seeing and stuff, and do this. Let's do it now. Like, let's do it. That's it.
Let's elevate. We're going to close it there.